There is a quiet fear that many people carry but rarely admit. It's not the fear of being alone. It's not even the fear of rejection. It's the fear of being replaced. Part 36 is about that subtle anxiety, the one that whispers, they'll find someone better. I'm temporary. I'm easy to forget. I'm just a phase. You may not say it out loud, but you feel it. When someone takes too long to reply, when they mention someone new, when they seem distant for a day, when their attention shifts even slightly, your mind fills in the blanks. They're losing interest. They're comparing me. They've found someone else. And suddenly your chest tightens. You feel small. Not because anything happened, but because something inside you remembers. This fear doesn't come from nowhere. It usually has history. Maybe you were compared to someone growing up, a sibling, a classmate, a better version of you that you were told to become. Maybe affection felt conditional. Maybe approval felt earned. Maybe attention shifted quickly. Maybe someone important in your life left suddenly, emotionally or physically. Children don't process abandonment as circumstance. They process it as identity. If they left, I wasn't enough. That belief doesn't disappear with age. It becomes quiet, and it shapes everything. Part 36 goes deeper. The fear of being replaced is not about jealousy. It's about worth. If deep down you believe your value is unstable, then any shift in attention feels like proof. You constantly scan for signs. Tone changes, energy shifts, social media activity, new names mentioned in conversation. You don't relax into connection, you monitor it. Because if you can predict replacement, maybe you can survive it. This fear often creates two opposite reactions. Some people cling, they overgive, overplease, overperform, oversacrifice. They try to become indispensable. If I'm useful enough, they won't leave. Others detach first. They act indifferent. They downplay feelings. They avoid commitment. If I don't fully attach, I can't be replaced. Both strategies come from the same wound, the fear of not being chosen. Part 36 uncovers something painful. If you grew up feeling unseen, ignored, compared, or emotionally secondary, your nervous system learns something early. You are replaceable. Maybe a parent prioritized work. Maybe they prioritized someone else. Maybe they withdrew affection easily. Maybe you felt like you had to compete for love. Children interpret that as, I'm not special. So now in adult relationships, any perceived shift in attention feels threatening, even if nothing is actually wrong, because your body remembers. The fear of being replaced is deeply connected to comparison. You measure yourself constantly. Are they smarter, more attractive, more interesting, more successful? You look for reasons you might lose, and in doing so, you slowly lose yourself. Part 36 goes deeper still. There's also a connection between this fear and perfectionism. If you believe one mistake could make someone leave, you try to eliminate mistakes. You try to be flawless. But perfectionism doesn't create security. It creates exhaustion. Because no matter how much you improve, the fear stays. It was never about performance. It was about attachment. Part 36 reveals something important. Being afraid of being replaced often means you don't feel inherently worthy. You feel conditionally worthy. Worthy if you're interesting enough. Worthy if you're attractive enough. Worthy if you're calm enough. Worthy if you're successful enough. But inherent worth feels foreign because maybe no one modeled unconditional stability for you. So you brace for comparison. You brace for competition. You brace for the moment someone better appears. But here's the truth most people miss. Healthy connection is not a ranking system. It's not a competition. It's not about finding the best option. It's about emotional resonance, safety, shared depth, shared understanding. You cannot be replaced in a connection built on authenticity. You can only be replaced in something that was transactional. Part 36 moves toward healing. The fear of being replaced softens when you build internal security, when you stop measuring your value through comparison, when you realize your uniqueness isn't about being better, it's about being you. When you accept that someone choosing you does not mean no one else exists. It means they see something specific in you, something that cannot be replicated. Your voice, your humor, your perspective, your emotional depth, your specific way of existing. But when you don't see your own uniqueness, you assume it's interchangeable. Part 36 reaches its emotional core. You are not afraid of being replaced. You are afraid of confirming the old belief that you were never enough. That's the real wound. The old narrative still runs quietly. I'm not special. I'm not the one. I'm just temporary. Healing begins when you challenge that narrative, not by forcing confidence, but by noticing your patterns. Notice when your mind jumps to replacement. Notice when you assume you're being compared. Notice when you feel panic over small shifts. And gently ask, is this happening now, or is this my past speaking? Because not every distance means replacement. Not every new person means competition. Not every silence means you've been discarded. Sometimes people are simply busy. Sometimes connection naturally fluctuates. Sometimes your nervous system is reacting to ghosts. You are not disposable. You are not easily replaced. You are not a placeholder. And the right people do not treat connection as a ranking system. They choose, not because you are the only option in the world, but because you are the right fit for them. The fear of being replaced fades when you stop seeing yourself as a product. You are not an option. You are a person. And people are not interchangeable. You don't need to compete to be chosen. You need to be authentic. Because the version of you that performs out of fear will always feel unstable. But the version of you that stands grounded in self-worth cannot be replaced. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. And real connection is not replaceable.